Hi, my name is Sarah. I am just gonna do some makeup and we're gonna share a story. Got another story for y'all. Subway sucked as an employer, and I'm gonna tell one story. So get these things off of me. I'm gonna go in with as much of this as I can get out of the bottle. It's almost empty actually. It's the base tape from Tarte. So I'm just gonna go in. It's almost empty. Let's get some new primer soon. Okay, this should be plenty of it. Okay, my face is already clean. I have washed it. I've moisturized it to the best of my ability. Okay, so for foundation, I'm going to use the Bye Bye foundation from It Cosmetics. I usually don't need a whole lot of this. And I'm going to use the mirror in one of my palettes to do this, so I'm not like on the camera. No, that's the wrong one. That doesn't have a mirror in it. Okay, I'll use this one because I'm going to use this palette anyway. So I have no idea what the names of my brushes are, but they're dirty. So hi, welcome to my low maintenance. I use the same brushes for everything, so I don't have to wash them. Don't do what I just don't wash your brushes. So go in here. I like this foundation because it is full coverage and covers my entire existence, pretty much. Usually I try to use a little bit less of this just because I like my freckles show. I just don't like pimples. Okay, so you're here and you're like, Sarah, what the heck? Just get on with the story. So I'll get on with the story. I started at Subway last June, like not the one we had, but the one in 2018. I started Subway at the end of that month here in my hometown, and the manager we had at that time, she was kind of a dummy. She was stupid in about every single way, and she behaved in a manner that was stupid in every single way, and nobody really liked her because she had a bad management style, and she just was the laziest person I've ever met in my entire life, and that is saying something because I am the laziest person. Well, not anymore, I guess, because I just said that my manager was lazy. And she is absolutely the laziest, or she was the laziest person I've ever met in my entire life. And she never did anything. She overworked everybody else, so she wouldn't have to do anything, which, managers, do better. Don't do that, because you're going to end up getting people quitting. And that's generally what happened. About 2 months after I got hired on, 2 people quit. In the first 2 months, we actually had 3 people quit. Because I had a guy actually quit about a week after I started. But whatever. This manager was the absolute worst. And she decided that I was going to be the person that she was going to pick on. I'm so bad at this, I'm so sorry. I was going to be the person that she would pick on and harass every opportunity that she got. So the first time, I think she did try to get me fired, or she tried to say I quit. It was about 2 months after I started. I was working a night shift, and when I closed, I just kind of left my uniform sitting on the counter there, just not thinking, because I was tired, ready to go home. So about 3 days later, because there was a 3-day gap between that shift and the next shift I had to work, I call in, because I'm like, I can't find my uniform. I don't know what happened to my uniform. So I call in. I'm like, hey, we'll call her Jan. I said, Jan, have you seen my uniform? Have you seen my apron and my hat? And she goes, no, I haven't seen it. I was like, okay, I'll just keep looking for it here. I'll see in a little bit. And she says, okay. About 5 minutes later, I get a phone call from her, and she's frantic. She's like, hey, did you quit? I said, no, I was on the phone with you 5 minutes ago asking about my uniform. What gave you the assumption that I quit? And she's like, well, everyone here is saying that, you quit. And I'm like, no one is saying that I quit. I mean, at the time I was kind of freaking out because I thought everybody was saying I quit, but in hindsight, she makes things up just for scares to freak everybody out. So like now it's like no one was saying that I quit mid shift. I just quit without notice. I never quit a job without notice, so that's a lie. I did quit my work study job without notice, but I also got married and moved away, so I feel like that should have been, obvious. Anyway, so she's like, hey, you need to get in here. We found your uniform and everything. You need to get in here really quick. I was like, okay, good. I'm supposed to be in here anyway, so I'll see you in like 5 minutes. So she's like, okay. So I get here. For some stupid reason, she has completely forgot in, the 5 minutes that it takes me to get to work that I was even scheduled to be on at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. And she's like, oh, you were scheduled to work. I was like, yes, I told you 3 different times I was scheduled to work. I will be in. See you soon. I told her this. And, she's like, oh, well, she's like, oh, I don't know where everyone was getting the idea that you quit. I leave my uniform all the time. She's like, you must have just left it in a way that kind of freaked everyone out. I was like, well, the only way for that to even happen is if you came in, because she was the manager and she is the one who usually comes in during the week in the morning to open. And yeah, but whatever, that wasn't a big deal. I was just like, okay, at least I have a job. That's good, right? So, a couple months, we get to January of 2019. I come in on the 2nd of January, and I already knew it was going to be bad. I knew this. And, one of the other workers, she told me, hey, if you have problems, and you're going to have problems because it has been a very busy day, we've not been able to do prep, you need to call Jan. And, you need to call her and ask her to come in. No, don't call anybody else. Just call her, ask her to come in. I said, okay. And not 2 hours later, I had this lady freaking out at me because I did not have tomatoes and onions because none was prepped for me. And I was, balls to the wall from the moment I walked in, pretty much. I was serving customers as soon as I got there, as soon as everybody else left. I was serving customers, and I did not have time to do any kind of prep. And yes. Anyway, assistant manager of the gas station I was working in, she comes back, she goes, what is the problem? I was like, I don't know what this lady's issue is. All I said is I didn't have tomatoes and onions, and she storms off. And she goes, well, you need to try to, make the customer happy, keep the customer happy. I was just like, whatever, I'm gonna freak out. I'm gonna quit. This was a bad day. I said, I'm gonna quit. I'll walk out right now if I get one more bad customer. And then I talk myself out of it, and I call Jan, the manager of Subway. And I was like, hey, I need you in here. It's bad. I have no tomatoes or onions, and I just had a lady walk out, and I just got in trouble by the assistant manager. She goes, okay. I was like, I'm sitting here on the phone full sobbing. And I'm like, you gotta get in here. I'm gonna walk out if you don't get in here. And she goes, okay, I'm coming. She just lived 15 minutes away. So she gets there in about 15, 20 minutes. And she's like, hey, don't freak out. It's fine. Not that big of a deal. No customer's ever worth you losing your job for, because there's nothing worth walking out on. And so I was like, okay. She helps me do all this prep. And about an hour or so later, she leaves. After she's done prep, she's helped me clean up a little bit. I'm going to start with this. Start the eyeshadow. This is Tetris X Ipsy. And it's a pretty decent palette. I mean, it's got a lot of fun colors in it. It's hard to do much with it, but I like to do fun colors with it. Anyway, back to my story. yeah, she helps me clean. She helps me, get enough prep done, at least get me through the rest of the night. And she goes, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I was very thankful. Wiped my tears, splashed water on my face. I was like, I got this. I'm a bad bee. I got this. I got the rest of the night figured out. Not a big deal. About 2 or 3 days later, I'm approached by the assistant manager. She goes, hey, when you called Jan, and you asked for help on the second, did she like laugh at you and say she wasn't gonna come in? I was like, no. And at the time, I didn't realize they were trying to get me to say yes so that they could fire that manager because they wanted to get her out because the other girl who was training me manager, we didn't want her to leave because she was too much of a good manager, but they were going to send her to another store. But at the time, I had no idea. So I said, no, she did not do that. She came in pretty quickly and she helped me even clean. She stayed for about an hour or so. And my assistant manager was like, okay. So, next, I'm talking to one of my coworkers who was working over on the gas station side, and I said, hey, who is going around telling people that I told management that, Jan laughed at me? I was like, you have some pretty good insight. Who is saying that? She looked at me confused and she goes, what? And I was like, yeah, who is saying that? That's kind of ridiculous. Who is putting that out there that I said that? Because I didn't say that. I've never told anybody that because it's not true. She goes, honey, Jan's the one who said that. I was like, you're kidding me. I was like, is she an idiot? Is she trying to lose her job? I'm like, Jan is the one who is telling everybody, who's telling upper management that I said that I laughed at her. I mean, she would know what that phone conversation looked like. And she's just like, yeah, she's the one telling everybody. I'm going to do I'm going to do a purple and blue look today, I think. Okay, get a different brush though. I was like, she's going around telling everybody that I said this. She goes, yeah, she's like telling a lot of people that you said this. I was like, that is the furthest from the truth. She goes, oh, I know. She like my coworker, she knew that this was not correct, but we couldn't really do much about it. I was just like, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I'm trying to find a good brush for this. It's not that big of a deal. Live, learn, whatever. People are stupid. I guess we'll use this one. And then about a week or so later, I find out Jan has gotten fired. And it's because she was lying on our reports. Oh, shoot, hold on. She was lying on our reports about how much stuff we had in stock. And she said it was because she was getting, or the new manager, who was at the time not the manager. She said at the time, apparently we were getting our balls beat about it. And she just wanted to cover her butt. So she was telling people, or she was telling her management that she had to throw a whole case of chicken strips out because it was all... She was telling people that we had a whole thing of chicken strips, which was expired. And I'm like, that is not the truth. And I even knew, without being a manager, I knew for a fact that was not the truth. Because 9 times out of 10, we were constantly running out of chicken strips a day or so before we could get new shipment. We always got shipment on Wednesdays. And at that time, we had always gotten chicken strips, like, run out. Because we had, like, 7 different things we were making with the chicken strips. Chicken strips and the teriyaki chicken. We were doing buffalo chicken. We were doing like pizziolis, just like a chicken and pizza, like a pizza sub with chicken on it. And she was telling everybody that we had a whole case of it expired, which is never ever the case. It is still to this day, to the point that I got fired. We never ran out of chicken strips, or we never had an expired case of chicken strips because we always ran out about a day or so before we would get shipment. And it was kind of ridiculous, the lie that she had to tell to keep herself covered. But then, they looked at cameras and they're like, no, you never took out a thing of chicken strips. Which, again, I'm confused as to why she thought this idea would work. why she thought telling upper management who had access to our inventory reports, telling them, and you know, they had access to the cameras, to everything, telling them that, you know, we were running out, or we had expired chicken strips and she had to write it down and throw it out. Like, no, that was never the case, and she knew that was never the case. And to this day, it has been almost, it's been 10 months since she got fired, and I just don't understand why she did that. I think she was trying to get herself fired because she didn't want to work there anymore. And she knew that nobody really liked her because she was a bad manager. And yeah, to this day, she's still a dummy head in my head. I've not seen her in 10 months, which is fine by me. I don't care. I never liked the woman. She always caused nothing but trouble for me. And, you know, good riddance, because that woman was the bane of my entire existence for a very long time. But, you know, we always hear rumors well after the fact about who she was as a person, and it kind of cracks me up. See that? I love that. It kind of cracks me up, the lengths that this lady would go to, you know, keep her cover. And I'm like, girl, shut up, Jan, shut up. Just be quiet. Like, just tell the truth. Nothing bad happens to people who tell the truth. Which is, that's a lie. Bad things happen to people who tell the truth. It happened a lot to me. But, yeah. Why is it so patchy? Why is that so patchy on this side? I don't get it. Anyway, this side never likes to work right for me. But anyway, yeah. We all ran our own conclusions as to what she was doing on the days that she claimed that she was going out of town to get more chicken strips for us. You know, there was a rumor that she had a side boyfriend in the next town over that was not in the place where she lived. There was a Subway over there that's owned by our same company that owns our Subway. And she decided she was going to go to that one because she had a boyfriend over there. We don't know that for sure. That's alleged. But that might actually be the case. I mean, we don't know. We truly don't know at all. Yeah, she was just not a good person. She worked at the Save-A-Lot for like a little bit. It was in our town. It was just right down the road from where our Subway was. But she could not get along with the management up there. And I know the manager at that Save-A-Lot. Absolutely 100% can say she probably did not get along with that manager because they have clashing personalities. And it absolutely cracked me up when she got fired from their town. Like, the next town over where she lived had far more to it. I mean, it was still a small-ass town. But it had far more to it than our town did. So I don't know why she didn't just find a job over in that town. But probably it's just because her husband lives in that town. I mean, she also lives in that town, but her husband lives in that town, and she would never want to work in the same town as her husband. But, I mean, this lady, I mean, love her heart. This lady would just, like, she would, whenever you were working with her, if any guy that was remotely attractive come through our line, and she was working with another customer, she would jump line very quickly. Be like, hey, take over this customer that she was working on, and start flirting with the next customer that walked through the line, the attractive one. Yeah, she worked with the attractive one, and she did this a lot. And on the days where she had help, she would always be outside smoking, because that's what managers do at that place, apparently, is they spend their whole day smoking and they don't actually do any kind of work if they don't have to. And yeah, I think, honest to God, she smoked more than she actually worked. I'm not any good at makeup, but I think I like this look a little bit. But anyway. But yeah, she was the bane of my entire existence, and I was really glad when she got fired. Because, yeah, she just was not a good person at all. And God, I hope this video didn't stop halfway through. Telling me oh no, it did. Oh, sweet. Anyway, I hope that's set up. Oh, that's weird. Hope that's set up okay, because we're not done with this look yet. I gotta put liner in there. Just a little bit, because I'm not really feeling a crazy look today. You know, she says that she's put purple and blue eyeshadow on in the most patchy way possible. I'll do this over here. It's not perfect, but I like it. It's pretty good. Okay, while that is drying, we're gonna put some blush on, and I think we're gonna do this one is the Betty Boop X Ipsy little blush palette, I guess. We're gonna go in with this one, I think. This one will be a good one, I think. What I don't like about this palette, or that blush palette, is that it doesn't have any, the payoff is not good. It doesn't have enough pigment in it. Which is funny because it's a Betty Boop palette. And I'm pretty sure Betty Boop at least had some kind of blush on, but then again, it was also black and white, so we don't know for sure what Betty Boop had. Alright, I'm going to go in with the darker shade of this, because this medium shade is not working for me, apparently. Doesn't want to, so I think we'll just keep on with this. That's this one right here. That's the one we're using. We'll just quickly throw some of that in there. I guess that's even. Next, we will do. This is I think this is Daisy and Pearl. Seraphim Botanics. It's a kind of a reddish. It's a dark highlighter. I typically don't like using dark highlighters, but I think today it will work for what I need it for. Take this. Yes, you can tell I don't wash my brushes very often. They still have powdery product on them. I just use a washcloth to do this. I don't know if you can actually tell this is actually working today. Ugh, bless my heart. Nothing's working right. It is awful mess. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of my story about my old manager, Jan. In short, she was a terrible human being. Nobody liked her, and she liked to lie to get out of trouble for her job. So we're just gonna continue with this makeup look. I love when there's no payoff at all. I don't know what is happening, so we're just gonna. Alright, so Huda Beauty. Don't typically like to use them, but I got an empty bag, and this is a pretty good, it's a decent highlighter palette. Goes like that. Don't usually use that. It's usually just these two because I don't like the bronzing color of that. So we're just gonna take Santorini, I guess. I guess it's Santorini, and we'll just kind of put that on there. I was trying not to put too much because I'm white, and I suck at doing makeup, so the highlighter is always the one that I just cannot do properly. I'm gonna put a little highlighter up here just for fun, you know, be adventurous. I'm guessing it's okay. I haven't even looked. I can't see. I'm very blind, and I have a lazy eye, so I can't see it all. I don't do contour because I suck at contour, so we're not going to do contour. Now it is time for mascara. I haven't forgot about mascara yet. This is Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension. This is what got me a lot of tips. This is what got me a lot of tips when I was working at Subway and at the gas station side, which I have a whole different story about that. But we'll do that. We'll talk to that later. This got me a lot of tips. And people are like, oh, wow, your lashes are so long. Are they fake? And I was like, no, they're not fake. What I didn't tell him was that it was liquid lash extensions. I was trying to make coin. I was trying to make bank. And tips was one thing we were not supposed to be taking because they could not tax our tips. Couldn't tax our tips. So they're like, you can get fired if you get caught taking tips. And I'm like, bruh, that is stupid. But it is whatever. With this particular mascara, I don't like to do the top of it because it will clump it. Something awful. And I don't like clumps. I mean, it's already clumping even now, but I have my eyelashes trying to fall out. Oh, love that for me. Okay, well, I'll address that later. Not now. But yeah, no, I was just like, oh, that's kind of tragic. Because people will leave their tips. They really will. One time I got left with a $5 tip, and it was very nice. It was also a festival weekend, and I got absolutely no more tips the rest of that day. Though there was one time, somebody left me like $4 and some change in tips. It was out of like a 20, and I was like, wow, what is this? And then they kind of just left it in a cup. I had a little cup sitting out because I'm not stupid. You don't leave a cup out and then write tips on it. That's how you get in trouble. But I just died. Oh my god. I love that for myself. Oh my god. Anyway. You know, I'm not stupid. You know, if I can get in trouble for leaving a tip cup out, you don't leave a tip cup out. You leave a cup out. So we had little soup bowls because Subway does soup. And we carry the cups all year, but we only do soup for about 4 months out of the year. And, so I would leave a tip cup out and not write tips on it because that's stupid. You don't do that. How you get in trouble and fired. So you just don't do that. I ended up with about $10, $11 in tips that night because they saw a $4 tip in there. When people saw a $4 tip, I was like, oh, I want to leave tips too. I'm just like, you can leave me whatever you want, just don't leave a bad review. That's all I had to say on that. Last thing we're going to do, I'm going to brush through my eyebrows just real quick. Once more, just for the sake of it. You don't know if I've done it in this video, but we'll brush them through. I don't like to try to add too much color to it, if I can help it, because they look terrible when I add color to them. They're already dark as it is, and I have this little patch right here that I accidentally took too much out of during my freshman year of college, and it never regrew back the same color as everything else does. Like, I have blonde hair, like body hair is blonde, head hair, brown, eyebrows, they're supposed to be brown, but right here, well, not this up here, but like that right here, it's blonde, and that's the only place where there has actual growth in it. This one always grows thinner than this one, and it sucks. But I let somebody do my brows one time, and I never recovered from it. So that's my life, and that's how it is. Last thing I have to do is lipstick, and I don't have anything neutral because I typically don't do crazy eyeshadows. So I can pair it with a red lipstick, but we're gonna be adventurous and pair this with a red lipstick because I don't care. I don't care. Don't care about beauty rules. Don't care about anything. Typically, I do have a nude shade, but it's in my backpack, and I don't feel like going to get it. So we're not going to go get it. And I'm also very crappy at putting on lipstick. FYI. I suck 100% of the time. And that's never going to change. So I'll get a little bit more than that. This is Real Her in the color I'm Adaptable, which is pretty funny in my opinion, but whatever. And yeah, we'll just finish this, and then we'll do a conceited close-up shot. Like, that actually looks halfway decent. I don't know. We'll just kind of pick up the camera and just look at it. Yeah. Oh, this is the part I hate the most, like Cupid's bow. I suck at Cupid's bow. Do a little more set. What's interesting about red lipsticks is that when you go to, when they're, trying to think of the right word, when you go to take them off, or you rub the wand, like if it doesn't have like a lot of product on it, it's pink. It's like a very rosy colored pink. Not like bright pink, but it's rosy colored, I think. So I always try to keep a lot of product on that. This is the final look. That's also my terrible manager, or the first one. We had, by the time I left there, I was fired from there back in September. We had a second manager, and I have a whole story about her, or well, not about her, but how she got hired as the manager. I guess it's for another video, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little story time. It's my first time doing makeup to a story time, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. See that? Or see, that's probably a little bit better. See that? Oh yeah. I don't care about continuity, y'all. Oh my god. Oh, never mind. Apparently, I can't see. There's the little button right there. It has. Okay, I'm done right.